which is a sthana bal. This is where the things gets very interesting, because this is where all your exaltation, debilation, own house, swashetri, and it is not only about your Rashi chart. Because Sthan Bal is calculated considering your Drikna, your Navansh, your Dashansh, it has considered everything. The time you are born, the month you are born, Ayan Bal, Kal Bal, everything is considered in it. So Sthan Bal is about how, then this is a space element of your chart. So when I say space element, and you will see now different elements will come in. So when I say space element of the chart, this means this is something you are going to get from the sky. This is whenever anything will be provided by space, it is throughout your life, it is going to be constant. Space is about where you are living. And let me start with one of the first techniques of prediction in it. Whenever you see a planet in Sthan Bal exceeding extremely high or extremely low, you will see your space will change. When I say space will change, your house will change, your office will change, and this is where the Vastu part comes in. When people say, oh, I have a Vastu dosh in my house, I said, okay, which dasha you are running? Because till now they were not used to these questions. If you go back to the Facebook group, there's a lady who said, I moved to this particular building and this is happening wrong, this is happening wrong, this is happening wrong. And I replied on that particular post, and I said, so first of all, you have a misconfirmation that you have a Vastu dosh in house. Reason being, the dasha you are running, you have an excellent sthana bal of that particular planet. So when sthana bal is there, it means the Vastu dosh cannot exist. And only when a planet loses sthana bal, then only the Vastu dosh can exist. You understand my point of view? Sthan bal is, Vastu is a sthana bal, where you are living. And whenever there is a dasha of a plant which is exalted in Rashi, Navansh, Drikna, everywhere it is exalted, the Sthan bal has shot up 200% of its place. In that dasha, you cannot get a space where it will have any kind of a dosh. It is only in dasha, and I will come to the next part of it for the Vastu people. Only in dasha, the plant which does not have a sthana bal, it's debilitated throughout, extremely bad sthana bal, then only you will be forced to go in a house which has a lot of Vastu dosh. Like for example, moon 3rd house debilitated, that was the chart. The native changed the house, and I had only one question: how are the neighbors? Moon 3rd house, Scorpio, debilitated, Navansh bad, Drikna bad, Sthan bal extremely low. They said neighbors are the troubles. And also this house is not built, what do you call, earlier people said there used to be a lot of bad things over this plot, but we were getting it cheap, so we brought it. So see, when the dasha will come, your space will be upgraded or degraded based on what is the space energy allocated, or sthana bal allocated to the planet. So sthana bal is your space energy. Also, you will see permanently in your life planets which lose in sthana bal. And this is how you do your Vastu. And this is how I actually tell people to do their Vastu in their house. There used to be a course around 4 years back, Bhrigu Vastu. If anyone, the earlier students remember, there used to be a course of Bhrigu Vastu. I used to do readings based on this, sthana bal. All I have to do is see which particular planet, and see what I'm teaching you in one line is a Vastu for whole life. See the planet and their significations which is losing in sthana bal, that particular area of your life will always be in trouble. Does not matter how much you do Vastu, how much you try to improve it, because that's the space energy of the planet which is missing. Pragnesh, you do Vastu. You should actually incorporate this in your Vastus now. So Sthanabal, let's suppose somebody has a moon in extremely low Sthanabal. All you have to do is fix their water tanks, water supply sources, food related areas. This is where this Sthanabal, their Vastu will be incorrect. When somebody has a Mars in low Sthanabal, ask them about their kitchen. When somebody has a Saturn in low Sthanabal, ask them about shoe racks. How clean, nicely, neatly they place shoes in their house. Also, how organized they are in, how disciplined they are in their work. When Mercury is in low Sthanbal, like in my chart, ask me how many incomplete projects I have in my life. And I will say billion. I mean, I don't even have the count of incomplete projects. I have books written 80, 90 pages and then left. And then after certain time period, I remember, oh, this is a book I written, 90 pages I've already written. Then I lost the enthusiasm. I said, okay, I will do it some other day. And there are multiple books like this. One day I might be able to release it. Mercury is also book rack. Mercury is also about your stationery items, your gallery. All those significations of a planet, you will see going low in life. And this is how the space is. When somebody's Jupiter is bad, you will see they will have false ceilings in their house. Why? Because Jupiter is a true space element and Jupiter rules is Sthanabal. Because what is space? When you have a lot of space to think, and if you ever go to any of the ashrams, when you go any of the akhadas, if you know, there is a Niranjani akhada, there is a Juna akhada, which represent different category of saints, different clans of saints. And if you go meet any of the Mahamandaleshwar of akhadas, they always sit below a tomb. Above them, if you look exactly above them, till 90 or I think at least till 90 feet, there is nothing, and there is a tomb, and they sit exactly below it, and that is why the wisdom comes in. And when they sit on their chair, you could feel the energy. Nobody is allowed to touch them, nobody is allowed to go near to them. Why? Because they are sitting in a very extremely different energy zone. If you want to increase your Jupiter, your space energy, just increase your ceiling heights. Make sure there's nothing on your roof. Nowadays there's a trend. People build like this kind of a coffee shop on their roofs, like something like a study room on their roofs of a temporary material. What you're doing is you're actually destroying your Jupiter by removing the space energy. You want to increase your Jupiter, your space energy. Clean your wardrobes. Make space for space. Space requires space basically. And you will see people with extremely bad Jupiter. There's a friend of mine who just was building a house. He was showing me house. There are two people in their house. Their daughter lives in Australia. Only two people lives in house. He and his wife. This is his second house in the same gated apartments. 3 floors. Every floor has a pantry. Every floor has the book reading room. Every floor has like, this is my entertainment zone. And this is second house. And I said, where is the space? You don't even require. You destroyed the garden to build this concrete structure over it. You wasted money because there's a lack of wisdom. Some people do not like empty spaces because they can't enjoy that minimalism. If you want to increase your Jupiter, empty your house. See what is not required. The magic of decluttering, I think that's the name of the book. It's hard. It's hard for people to give away things. And there's a research, that there's a scientific research. People who actually donate more receive 1.6 times of it back. Earlier, scientists thought, this is something which is happening. This might be This might be in few cases only. But then they say, no, it's a scientific process. Which happens is when the people who start giving more, they get more open to energies. They become more liberating. And that is why their brains start tuning or aligning with the things which is with the abundance. This is a research. And whenever you have a chance to give anything to someone, give out the best things. This is the whole theme of Pisces. Whatever you will give will come back to you. People have tried it in Tirupati, right? You go to Tirupati in South, whatever you will give, even before you will give, that will come back. Twice of it will come back to you. This is the real reason in Tirupati, it always comes back. And that's why you see people will go in Tirupati and they will donate everything. And before even you will reach home, you will have the twice of it. This is a magic of donation or giving out things to. And on the other hand, there are people who will steal, who will do thievery, who will be very miserable, not giving out things. And you will find their life is actually getting miserable day by day. Why? Because they are not able to give. So in space element, whatever planet is going low, try improving that portion of your house first. The remedy of space should come from Vastu. The remedy of space should come from increasing the energy of that planet which is coming from this sky. And the best way to do it is in Vastu. If your planet is not low in Sthanabal and you're doing the Vastu, it is not going to make any difference. When people say Vastu works, I said, yes, it works. Absolutely will work. But in certain areas where you were having low Sthanabal. If somebody has a sun low in Sthanabal, the person will not be able to organize things. Person will not be able to manage things. Sun is the east horizon, and you can look. Anybody with a low Sthanabal, look in the east part of your house, and you will be able to see what is the condition of east. Saturn rules west, Mars rules south, Moon rules northeast. All these directions of the planet. Just go and look at there. This is the practical remedy. I want you to do it for yourself, because see, until unless you can sort out your charts first with the remedies, you cannot give out remedies to anyone else. If for the Stanbal you are giving the remedy of stones, the client will say, I do not require this. The client will say, my problems are not solved. Sometimes in the consultation, we get the feedbacks, the astrologer did not tell me any stones. I mean, you don't require stones. You require Vastu. You require only these particular types of remedies. And also, you see, one of the other remedies which I always give, and this is the level of remedies, you should understand yourself how different version of the remedies can be made. This is starting, Shubham. I'm just starting up. I'm just warming up. Just let me speak. If you let me speak, I will go way beyond your understanding. This is the starting of that you can improve the Vastu of it. Second part is, you see, earlier the remedy was that if somebody had it, and this is how I actually give remedies for the temples as well. Like somebody came, he said, this particular person had 15 years of marriage and no kid. And I really felt for that couple who came to office. And I said, let me look at the chart. So women's chart was all right, no trouble, not that much of affliction. I look at the men's chart, and he had a Mars Saturn sitting in the 5th house of Saptansha, Mars aspecting the Lagan of Saptansha from 7th house. So let's see, both main houses of the Saptansha got afflicted. Both of them are in Mrityu Bhag. Now, when these 7 has such a bad combination, and I asked them what you have done, and they had done almost every puja. They have done Narayana Bali, they have done Kal Sarpadosh. And this is why I'm telling you this is, you see, when you give wrong medicines, every time, what will happen? The wrong medicine will not cure you. And then they said, we came to you because you said in one of the videos I did that remedy, and it actually gave us a lot of changes in our life. This is the reason we came to you. We're not students, we are only listened on YouTube. So I said, okay, let's go and meet. So my only remedy was go to Ayappa temple in South. If you see the deity of Ayappa, both Saturn Mars is there. There's a temple of Mars, only men can go. You have to go in black clothes. That's the Ayappa temple. I said, go there, do your 41-day ritual, come back, God will bless you. Because that's how you can do the remedy. If somebody is living, like Sanchita, if Sanchita is living in Bengaluru, and if I ask Sanchita, you do one thing, go and visit the Ayodhya temple for the moon, for if your moon is in low Sthanbal, or go and live in Ayodhya for take a bath in the Saryu river for 40 days. Sanchita says, sir, 40 days, today's time, I have a job to do. Why you're doing such remedies? Give me something easy. And this was the trouble all throughout the human history. So what our ancestors did, they did a very wonderful thing. They knew the importance of sun. So what our ancestors did, they said, if sunlight is falling at this particular degree, let us build a temple to capture the energy of sun and keep it in a garbhagriha. Garbh is where all these energies are concentrated, and let us place a deity in it, who the deities will be in the form of gold, silver, or black stone, which will keep on absorbing all the. That's why the black stone is extremely important for deities, not the white stone. You see all the Krishna temples, all the South temples, all major temples, always there's a black stone. Why? Blacks keep absorbing, will and becomes extremely dense with the energy. Or they will be in gold or covered in gold. All those conductive materials will be on the top. If you see the extreme top of the temple, there will always be the metal conductor focusing that energy towards the deity, and it will be just below the tomb of it. You see any shivling, just above it, there will be the top of the temple. So do one thing, go and visit that temple and visit in a garbhagriha for 5 minutes. That's it. That's all you require. Because the energy in the garbhagriha is so strong. I mean, I tell you a very practical example. I visited Sarkunda Devi, where the head of the Devi fall off. One of the Shakti Peeths, it is above Masuri, 1.5 hour. Above Masuri, you have to go. And it was Sunday. Either I have to wait in line to get into trolley, because if you go Sarkunda Devi, you have to climb 2 kilometers, and the climb is like, it's a steep, it's extremely steep kind of a trek. I said, okay, I will go. And I didn't brought the ticket. I said, by the time I will get the ticket, I will just go carry forward. And I underestimated the climb at that point of time, because when you're standing below, it looks like it's there. But anyhow, I climbed up to that place. It took 1.5 hours. Visit there, do the darshan, everything done. And then, there's someone who was writing for the donations. And the person asked, what is your father's name? Because they asked for the donations. Can't you imagine? I've forgotten my father's name. Then he asked, what's your name? I forgot my name. Why? Because the head energy of the head was so strong, my head just could not get that energy. That it was like I got that my head spinned around in that temple, because the energy was so strong, and it took me 5 minutes to recall and regain everything. I said, okay, now you're right. Because I'm telling you the practical example how the energy of a temple. You're visiting a Sarkunda Devi, the way the head of the Devi has fallen. Your energy inside the head has to go in very different zone, and that was the nemath for me, that my darshans are done wonderfully. Because I chose the Muhurta, I chose the day of it. I chose, okay, this is the temple I have to go. And when I visited in that particular Muhurta, this is what happens. This is why people, I mean, in any scenario, I will not forget my name. Forget about my father's. In any scenario, I should not forget my name. But this is what happens. And it took me time to recall and just come back to senses. Because just after, if you go that temple, you come out of that temple and then there is a person sitting. So I just visited in the Garbhagriha and came out. So whatever temple you will visit, that space energy you should get from that temple. And this is how you decide which particular temple, which particular direction you have to visit. Saturn Mars, it's in south, that Ayappa temple. That's how I chose. You go to south, Mars is exalted there. This is Saturn temple. There's a combined energy. Go visit there. When people visit temples of the planets which have low sthana bal, their life suddenly gets better. And this is what you should do before every Antardasha which has a low sthana bal. Make it a ritual that I will choose Muhurta. Choose Muhurtas. If you're visiting for Jupiter, choose the Thursday with a good date. Like other day, there was a Budhwar and Ashtami. You could not find a better temple to visit than Devi temple or Kalbharvastakam or Dat Kali on that day. That was the exact time period for it. And once you will start visiting, because I'm assuming that first time you will assume you will gather the energy of 10%, 15%. Second time you will get 5-10% more of energy. But every time you will visit, you will see your problems are disappearing. Why? Because the Sthan Bal is improving. This is the ritual you need to perform for your troubles related to Sthan Bal, space energy. One is Vastu, another is temples. There is no other way you can improve a Sthan Bal of a planet. You can wear a stone, it will not help you in Sthan Bal. You can do a ritual, not help you in Sthan Bal. Two things which will help you in Sthan Bal or space energy is, one is Vastu, you're improving your local space. I mean, you see, there's a research done by Deepika. I've muted you 3 times. Can you please mute yourself? There's a particular book for the Japanese rituals I was reading. You see, there's a study. People who clean their toilets in Japan every day, and people who do not clean, or people who clean once in a week, the average household income difference is $7,000. Such a simple thing. I mean, they do not know Jyotish. What they know is cleanliness.